Ladies and gentlemen, konnichiwa. Hello, my name is, of course, Guy, the common gentleman. Hello. Hello. And welcome to what I tried to put out like 3 weeks ago and never really got around to it because, reacting is hard. It's not really hard, but it's understanding the logic behind how you go about reacting and how to edit it and stuff like that. But yeah, whatever. Welcome to our Tokusatsu Sentai commentary react thing that I'm planning on doing. And you can tell this is unscripted because I have no idea what I'm talking about. This is more or less going to be covering the first 3 episodes of number one Sentai Gozyuger or Gozyuger. I will never be able to pronounce it right. And also apologies, my brain is still a little bit flummoxed by what I saw today in terms of wrestling because I'm filming this after Elimination Chamber and what that's all I gotta say there. So I am going to watch all 3 episodes of Goyuja and we're going to more or less talk about it after the fact, so there's going to be no, I'll probably bring things up like that screen or whatever throughout this, but we shall see. So let's talk about this series, shall we? I have to admit, for an opening, a cold opening, one of the best. Just the whole entire battle between the different mechs, the giant catastrophe, giant villain, whatever he is really, really fun and very cool. And the debut of the Tenga sword. There we are. Tenga sword is such a cool design in terms of like what it actually is this season. Because I've watched this first episode before, and originally, like I said, I was going to bring out a video for this, like actually react to it weekly. Hopefully, I will be able to do like a so I watched a video sort of thing. But yeah, like this whole opening, seeing all the old mechs back again is really, really cool. Like, Tenga Sword is just such a beautiful design. Look at that. And the fact that it's also the changer as well, which is insane. And if I find my mouse again, I'll be able to actually continue this. Where the fuck is my... There's my mouse. There it is. Thank you. You know, just its whole design, and like this is such a badass image, really. So cool. So cool. I've got to admit, ingenious way of doing the episode title. You know, having it actually on a product in the actual store instead of just being a little notification. That's really cool. Got to admit, when I first did this react, I kept calling this guy King because for some reason he looked a lot like King from Osama Sentai King Oja. It wasn't until after I watched the episode and went onto Twitter that I found out that that's Boone Red. What? What? How? It's fucking Clark Kent up in this bitch. What? Really, it's kind of weird. And also our lead character is just so very creepy smile. I gotta admit, very, very creepy smile. Gotta admit, Sentai has this weird mentality when it comes to the first episodes and the weirdness of the main red basically. Not most of the times, like 50% of the time, you know, they're decent normal people, and then you've got the weird people like Hoyer. I will mispronounce his name. Todo-san. There we go. Let's go for the last name for this character because I will struggle with my Japanese. I always do. But I absolutely love the whole idea of him being, because we've seen the, like, obviously during the trailers and the character introductions and stuff like that. It's really cool just to see like, oh, this dude is a loner. Okay, how's that going to work? And I love the whole pose for that. That's going to be really cool to see how that plays out. Also, props to them for this particular part. Excuse me then. Let's move her out of the way. Because she's in that way. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I don't want to get like... I want to just get the scene. Damn it. Show me the scene. This part, they actually took the effort to put in the fact that this is where he got splashed by the very juicy hot dog, you know, and it actually shows, and that's commitment there, because other shows would just be like, nah, we're not going to show it. I absolutely love the set design for this, for the cafe. It is such a nice design, and one that we rarely see. Like, I think we've seen a similar place to this in things like O's, where the greed used to hang out like later on in the series. And I believe there was a similar one in Tokuja with the dollhouse. That I love this set design. I really do. Like, this is one of my favorite types. So I'm very happy that they sort of took the time to give us a nice base location, as it were. The start of a ship that will never stop sailing, that's for certain. Oh, I love Todo-san's whole character in this. You know, trying to find work, and the amount of jobs he's had over the past couple of years is insane, but understandable when legitimately everything is against you. But I really do love like this particular scene, and again, because I've seen the first episode, I'm rewatching it just to more or less get my brain back into it, because it's been like 2 weeks since I watched this show. Seeing Haruhi being in this, as like, because this was filmed while Boom Boonja was still going on, so seeing him sort of play two roles at the same time, basically, Natsumi in this and Taya Handle in Boom Boonja, which I will say this, one of the best Sentais I think of this era, because Boom Boonja was amazingly good. And yeah, definitely worth it. And obviously concerns with this one being the 50th right after it. You know, if it was the 50th at the not Boom Boom, Don Brothers, then I wouldn't have an issue with it. But it's always the case with Sentai and Kamen Rider and stuff like that. We have this really amazing series, and then the following series has so much to live up to. Go Busters, I believe, did that. Was that after Gokaiger? Yes, I believe it was, because they had the crossover movie, and they only did the crossover movies between the past and the next Sentai. I think, I can't remember, but like Go Busters was such a like. It had a lot to live up to after that, because it was Goseiger, Gokaiger, Go Busters, I believe. Was that? I can't remember off the top of my head. So let's continue. Gotta love the villains of this. This caught me off guard actually when I first watched this, because my brain didn't fully register the foot soldiers, and the whole like bell concept is so cool. I love that. It fits quite well for the theme, and the actual world here, the number one world, is really cool. I like that. So, or no one world, sorry. And yeah, I've got the names in front of me because I will forget the names. And yes, I do watch this without subtitles, and mainly because like it's how I learn my Japanese. I need to hear it more, so I have to have the names and stuff like that in front of me, because I will mishear words. So let's go. Also, can we just point out the fact that this the first general that we come across in this show is called Fire Candle. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And like the villains this season look so fun. Like, or like with Boom Boonja, we had very like specific villain types. With Don Brothers and stuff like that before then, we like Don Brothers didn't really have that many villains in it. You know, Zenkaija did. You know, what was after Don Brothers? I forgot. What was before? I can't remember. But yeah, generally have like very specific villain types and stuff like that. But like these ones look to be quite fun this time around. I'm interested to see how their dynamic grows in this show. Also, that's really really cool. Like again, it's one of those weird things about the Reds with Sentai is generally what we see in the first episode might not represent like the majority of the series. Apologies. Like hell, even like the opening intro, basically the intro video, kind of lies sometimes. I know we don't have one in this one, but we do have for like second and third episodes. Because I'm rewatching, for example, I'm rewatching New Soldier right now, and the intro shows that Core has an ability that doesn't really become a factor within the show, and it's just like, why? Why would you lie to that? So I'm interested to see how much of our main character's backstory continues. Also, I think I might have said something a little bit incorrect earlier if I mentioned the words dress guards. They're not the grunts. The grunts are just nameless grunts at this point. They got combat ones and they got Cassius bear. So if I did refer to the grunts as dress guards, I apologize for that. That was entirely my fault because I'm not fully up to date on this. So also love the theme of everything being circles. It reminds me a lot of O's in that regard. This is very similar to this particular point here. Reminds me a lot of like Time Ranger, where the vehicles would come from the future and stuff like that. So it gives me that sort of vibe. And as this is the anniversary, I appreciate that vibe feeling there. Also, this dude literally thought, I'm going to have flamethrowers and I'm going to use them like whips. And I love that. It's like practical effects like that with the actual flamethrower is really cool. Because we got really like weighed down by CGI stuff like a couple of years ago. And it always left a bad taste in my mouth with mech fights. So if we see more practical stuff again, like New Soldier was a blessing because we had so many cool like mecha fights like, where the suits actually felt real and not CGI, because there was very little CGI used in the early parts of the series. I think there was CGI later on in the series. I can't remember, but Kira Major Kira Major was before Don Brothers, wasn't it? Yeah, because it was Kira Major, Zenkaija, Don Brothers. Why am I struggling to remember that series? Because it was the same time as Godchild, wasn't it? Was it King Oja? Was King Oja the series? Like, it was. How did I forget King Oja? Like, but once, as soon as I mentioned like Godchild, it was like, oh, King Oja, of course it is. Anyway, can we just round of applause here for the designer of this series to give not only like have the grunts basically be bells, like have bell helmets and stuff like that. They gave them champagne bottles as weapons. Just bravo. It's one thing I didn't catch the first time I watched this, and then when I rewatched it, I'm like, wait, what? Nani? I love Fire Candle. Like, legitimately, he's such a fun character. And he just eats up the entire scenery. It's like, I'm going to be crazy. And I love him for... Ah! I'm sorry. That is... I like one of the things I fell in love with the series straight away was the henshin. Because I love a dance henshin. I really do. Like, Koyuja's dance is one of my favorite dances. It's one of the only few ones, actually, if I remember correctly. But, Taya, come on, dude. Don't show up the other team, man. Come on. Just also, I would love to ask them why. Like I kind of know why, like in terms of like a broader sense, but it's just very weird that it's like Tire Handle becomes is using King Orger stuff. Because I think what I remember them saying is like this is showing them that like the different Sentais exist, but they're different people. So it's like it allows people to know like of different Sentai and stuff like it's a universe Sentai. So they're all different portraying people. Apparently a certain wolf is gonna be in this at some point, maybe, possibly, rumored. For that I mean Lone Wolf, what's his name? From Wild Force is like the only like previous Power Ranger person who's in Japan right now as this is filming, and maybe he's going to be in it. I don't know. That would be really cool if he is. Like it would be really really weird to see like an American actor being in Sentai again. You know, obviously we had Tom in Gates. I don't know why I said Gates. Geats. But like it'd be really weird to see like someone that a lot of us know from like growing up and watching Power Rangers to see him in a Sentai. It will be really really cool. I believe we've had someone show from Power Rangers show up in Sentai before. I think it's one from the later series of Power Rangers, like from Ninja Steel or no Dino Charge. Maybe I can't remember, but you guys will probably remember know who I'm on about. Also, can I still say how nice it is to see the King Orger suit again? I know it's only been a few years since we saw it, but like to see it on a live action, like on a non green screened background, is so nice. Because as much love as I give King Orger for just being an amazing series, a lot of it was hampered by the decision they made with the green screen and all that sort of stuff. I mean, props to them for trying it because it allowed them to tell a much bigger story compared to most Sentais, where it's like, you know, this is Earth, we are on Earth, you can tell it's Earth. Here it's like, this is an alien world. We're now in a alien world and different type and stuff like that. So it was really a good idea, but also hampered at the time, I think. Also, Tono-san there, like, completely following Agent Carter, not Agent Carter, but Carter from Lightspeed Rescue. It's like, fuck it, charge at the thing. That's channeling that much energy in there. Love the fact that also, like, the Tega sword is blue here. Because, like, we've seen, like, three different versions of it so far. We've seen the normal version, we've seen the stone version, now we see a blue version. And we see the silver version, obviously. So, four. Apologies. Can't count today. But also interesting that Tono-san has, like, flashbacks to it. So maybe he was there during the fight. We shall find out eventually, hopefully. If they don't drop it randomly. Don't take the ring without... Don't take the ring without, like, making sure it's not trapped, you know? Standard Dungeons and Dragons ruling here. Don't pick up things if you don't know if it's trapped or not. My point exactly. What? Sorry, I love this sort of... Like, it's one of those things that I really, really love about Sentai, is the use of mechas in it. Because most of the time it's like, they're just the vehicles for the giant fights and stuff. But here, reminding me much of, is it Zudanger? Yeah, Zudanger. Well, yeah, I forgot the name there for the. Wait, what? What? But yeah, Zudanger. Them having a sentient sword. So having a sentient sword here is really, really cool, and I really like that. And also like having like Bulkhead more or less introduce herself at this point. You know, she seems to be a very interesting character in herself. Appearance wise, really cool. Love the contacts in her eyes and stuff like that. But it's interesting because a lot of a lot of villains on the first episode show why they're villains. You know, here it's a little bit more like gray area sort of stuff. They're after the Tega sword and the power there, obviously, but you know, they don't seem overly evil. Like Fire Candle seems batshit insane if I'm entirely honest with you, but you know, he's not. Oh, I'm evil for evil's sake. It's just like I want to cause chaos. I want to do shit. You know, so I like that the way they've done that. You know, the characters feel very grey area sort of stuff and could easily turn at some point or not, or become more villainous and stuff. But anyway, let's continue. Sorry. Legitimately, that like past few minutes there is just like insane in terms of what information we get. You know, the fact that Tono-san has no wishes because of his sister, maybe, because it's clear that he's from the No One world. So it's interesting. Is having a wish on No One World a bad thing? What happens if you do? What do they do to you? You know. So it's interesting in that regard, and the fact that Tono-san is very much like I don't have wishes. There's no need. But Tega-san is like, well, that'll change. That'll probably change. You know. Is really cool. And this shot here is really, really cool. You know, Tega-san being a giant ship coming in and stuff like that. Hopefully the Howl stuff will not be repeatedly used every 5 minutes. Looking at you, ninja. Seriously, that annoyed me on the first watch through that series. But fingers crossed, it's not going to be that bad. The entire sequence there, it's very weird to see that we're getting a suitless cockpit for this season, and I'm interested to see what the reason is for that. Why they're not able to go in, like, for what we've seen so far in this episode and possibly in the next 2 episodes. You know, there is a suit designed for the cockpit scenes, which is very similar to how the later years of Power Rangers did it, where when they go into the mech, they have a different suit. You know, they have a different, like a more Western styled suit. You know, Samurai did it. You know, they had the battle mode and stuff like that for the mech suit and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see how that's playing out. It's kind of badass, you know, and the fact that like Tono-san gets sort of encased within the ring, the headpiece, reminds me a lot of like Kyutamas, which is kind of cool. Also, I should point out it's kind of obvious that for this particular part of the video, I am not really like reacting to like playing footage, because one, I don't want to get messed up, and two, I've seen it before. You know, I'm not really getting hyped, and this is more just like me having an opportunity to talk about some of the stuff I've spotted and I like about this first episode. Like this scene here is kind of a bizarre thing to do, but I absolutely love it. it's weird, and I'm all for it. Like, legitimately, I'm all for this sort of battle sequence because it gives a little bit more of a connection to the characters. You know, probably what's going to happen is going to have a normal roll call, like once we've got everyone together and stuff like that. But I like the more connected parts of having the villain sort of introduce themselves in a very thematic, sportish way. It's kind of cool. I do like that. And again, the suit design here, which is a lot of people have like commented, reminds them a lot of like Tommy Oliver in the White Ranger outfit. So yeah, I kind of I get it, and probably entirely like coincidental, but it works really well. I do want to say as well, like this is really cool, you know, and I'm very interested to see how this changes as the show goes on. Like the amount of like fans the No One World group have compared to the Goryuja group. So I'm hoping we're going to see like a very different dynamic here of them getting more and more followers and stuff. That'd be kind of cool. One thing I will say I just noticed there is the command, like the controls for both the Goyu Wolf and Treasure Hunter #1. They're the same mechanic, like system. Like the suit cockpit is very different, but it's very interesting that like the technology in the No One World seems to be very similar to Tegasword. I keep going to say Tegasword, and I hate myself for that. But Tegasword is the word I need to say. Tegasword. But yeah. So it is very interesting that we're seeing like similarities in the tech, and I'm interested to see how that also going to be played out. So let's continue. Sorry, I'm sorry. One of his special moves is literally a chop. It's almost like it stole off me. Chop. Sorry, I love that. It's just like it's so stupid that like one of its attacks is literally a chop. It turns into a giant hand and chop.
Engage.
Clap your hands!
Hopefully that'll be fine. Wow. Like, also, I'm not entirely sure, like, other Sentai nerds who have better memories than me could probably tell me, is this the first time we've ever had, like, an unsuited mecha fight before the first henshin? And may I just say the first henshin, like, we said it earlier when Natsume changed into King Order. I love the fact that the it is a sort of a dance henshin of clap your hands. So I love that, and I need to buy the Tega sword. I almost bought it yesterday, but decided to wait at least till the end of March because I'll be able to buy a lot of stuff and do videos on that. So, but yeah, I absolutely love this one. It is so cool, and the fact that it is very simple. It's just it's really cool, and a 6 clap henshin, very very cool. And yes, I will be learning the henshin sequence. So, when did this series turn into a fighting game? And if so, please, for the love of God, release this as a fighting game. Like, actually, like, work with Capcom, work with whichever, like, big fighting game company that is, like, would be able to produce this sort of stuff, and just, please. Because that would be amazing. Like, we need a good fighting game in Sentai. We need a good Tokusatsu game in general. We have a few coming out like over the next like years that look interesting, but we need a good like licensed version. So that's episode one done. Legitimately one of the best, like, oh, in my opinion, and from the past couple of seasons, one of the better openings that we've had. Love the dynamic between Tono-san and Natsume, and I forget Natsume's last name. That's why I'm not using Tsusumi. I love the dynamic there, and again, like I said earlier, like it's the ship that will never stop sailing at this point because they look cute together. All right, they do. The whole premise of it being like there was a calamity that they had to fight, and you know all those powers got like splitted off. Reminds me a lot of the Legendary War, which is what I think they were going for, but in a cooler way because they've done like all the Sentai together and stuff like that, but they've never done the. You be quiet. They've never done. They didn't do the mecha fight, and I like the fact that we're going from the mecha point of view in this one compared to the Ranger point. Love the villains. The villains are very cool. They're very unique in regards to what they can sort of show off in it. Fire Candle is amazingly funny. I love the scene where he's trying to think of the name for the mecha, and that's really fun. So I'm interested to see what's coming up next, and I believe from both the thumbnail of the second episode and from the end of the actual episode, we're going to be looking at Goju Lion and Goju Tyranno next, which would be really cool. So let's jump into that. And this one I'll probably have a little bit more of a. I might actually like clip in reactions because I'm waiting to certain points before I talk about things. So that's why we just get the stills primarily. So